Den of Thieves 2, now out. Let's talk about it. Okay, so the sequel to the original Den of Thieves is now officially out on the big screen for you guys to go and check out. And look, I really enjoy the first one. I think the first one is so much fun. You know, it's got a heist, it's got action, it's got everything you want. It's got Jared Butler. I mean, who doesn't love that guy? Jared Butler's now becoming that new Liam Neeson sort of guy where he just pops up and you're like, yeah, I will watch his movie. He's in that realm right now. And look, as someone who likes the first Den of Thieves, the trailers looked absolutely fantastic for this movie. I was really hyped. Now, the trailers do give off an action vibe. This movie is not an action vibe. So if you're going in there expecting pure action, that's not what you're going to get. This is very much more of a heist film. It's more about getting in and getting out. So don't expect there to be a lot of gunfight. There is a sequence in here where there's a chase involving the gun sequence where people are shooting at, but that's about it. Nothing else really revolves around the action. So with that said, I like this film. I do like this film, Den of Thieves 2. I don't think it's better than the first one. I think the first one is better. Now, this has issues, but it also has something that is has elements and stuff like that that are really good, that I really enjoyed. So let's get through the bad stuff first. One, it's way too long. This is like 2 hours and 20 something minutes long, and you feel every bit of it. You feel every bit of it. And I feel like this could have been tightened right up to about maybe even the 2 hour mark, and you would have had a great movie that would have ran a lot better, because there's so many times where you're just sitting there and you're like, oh man, this feels like it. And I'm telling you now, in the third act, you're like, oh yeah, the movie's ended. So this is where it's going to end. Nope, we got another 15 minutes here going on here, explaining this, doing this. And you're like, am I ever going to leave the theater at this point? So it has some pacing issues. It is a tad too long. I will say that. Now, something that I think worked really well, especially for me, is the heist itself. Now, if you're someone that really enjoys heist films, and you're not all about the action, I think you're going to enjoy this film. Because the heist itself, when you are in the moment with them, the way that it's shot, the way that it's edited, the way that it's performed, you feel like you're there. You're on the edge of your seat. You are not taking that breath in certain moments. You are not making any noise whatsoever, just in case you set off things. But what I loved about it is it's the precision of every single movement, every single second mattered. If you were off by a millimeter, if you were off by a microsecond, the whole thing falls apart. And I loved how that was written. How this whole entire sequence was written was fantastic. And the way that it was edited, with you panning back to the security guard, watching the screen, and then panning back, them getting ready to move to the next room, it added this atmosphere that is very, very, very anxious, very good. And you're holding your breath the whole entire time. And I thought that was fantastic. To me, that was the best part of this film, was the actual heist itself. I was thoroughly enjoying how it was all being executed, the ins and outs, the little details, down to the microsecond, was just incredible. And to me, that was the best part. That part, I had no pacing issues with that part. That part just flew by. It was high-paced. Well, it was like, it's not like high-paced in a sense of like that. It just felt very high-paced. It felt like the adrenaline was pumping as you're watching it unfold. So I really like that. Now, the stuff leading up to it, there's a lot of stuff leading up to the actual heist with the plan. You don't really dive into the planning too much. It's more about the characters interacting, getting to know the other characters, the new characters, here they come. You know, getting reintroduced with the two old characters from the first film. So there's a bit of that. There's a bit of, you know, Jared Butler's character and O'Shea's character coming together, you know, bonding, you know, Is he really going to be a cop? Is he going to turn dark? Like, what's going to happen with that? So there's all that is happening. So you don't really dive into them planning it out. That stuff is really much, ticked over very quickly. And look, another thing I didn't really, I thought was underutilized. There's a moment involving some people that were in the crew. Something happens. I'm not going to spoil what happens. Something happens, and then there's an event that happens in the third act. It's kind of just like, it's just kind of there for the action purpose. I'm going to tell you that now. It was just there to create action purpose. And when I'm sitting there, I was like, you didn't really need to have that in there. And I feel like, look, as much as I love an action sequence, I love a car chase sequence, I love a gunfight, it did feel unnecessary. I'm going to be honest. It felt like if you had took that out, you would have shaved off 5-10 minutes maybe off this film. And I don't think we needed it. I don't think it added anything to it. It's kind of like, okay, so they're from there and there, and okay, so they're that. Like, it didn't really have any major impact at all. And I was kind of like, you didn't really need that. So there is little things like that. Now, Jared Butler, fantastic. O'Shea, fantastic. Those two, the chemistry, the characters, brilliant. Absolutely loved it. Thought they were so freaking good. So much fun to see them, talking and interacting with each other. The supporting cast were great as well. I really enjoyed that. The cinematography was fantastic. The scenery, the way that they did the open shots, the big pan shots of the location. Oh man, it was just stunning. I was just like, oh man, I want to go to Nice, France now. I want to go there. I want to go to France and enjoy that. Like, there's just so many things that were just fantastic. There's a little bit of comedy in here, not too much, but there's enough there where it's kind of like, it's hilarious, it's fun. A particular moment about water. When you see the scene, you'll know what I'm talking about. Thought that was hilarious. So I feel like there's enough here to like. I liked it. I wouldn't say I think it's like going to be one of the best movies. No, I don't think. I think it's going to be in that little middle section of the movies that I watched this year. That's where I think it's going to end up. Like I said, I think the first one's better. But this one, I feel like I said, if you like heist films, just heist films alone, not really the action or anything like that, and you like the idea of going in, executing a heist, and getting out there, this is the movie I think you're going to really enjoy. If you're someone that's looking for heavy action in a heist movie, don't watch this movie then, because this movie is not that. Lower your expectations, lower what you think you're going to see, because it's not that. But overall, I don't have any like major issues that like make me go, I hate this film or anything. I think it's a decent film, and yeah, I had fun with it. So let me know what you guys think of Den of Thieves 2. Did you guys enjoy it? Smash it down in the comment section below. Smash that like button, click subscribe, and I'll see you guys next video. Until then, stay safe and peace out.